Our children.
Speaker.
Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, you know the National Party's in trouble when the best they can put up in their defence is Maurice Williamson and Paul Hutchison. If that's all they can come up with, it's like a fifth form debating D team. The fifth form debating D team. Because there is no defence to the absolute hash they've made of things in the last week. You've got John Key and Bill English marching around telling New Zealanders that they've got to learn to live without the nice-to-haves. They've got to tighten their belts. But oh no, not them, not them. They're going to give themselves brand new BMWs. The ones they've got now are only 3 years old, but that's all right. They'll give themselves brand new ones with nice heated seats so that when Bill English is down in the deep south, paying his annual visit to his constituency, he can ride around in a BMW with a heated seat. So what else do? They go and refurbish their ministerial houses. New carpet. Some families can't afford to put food on the table, but oh no, John Key needs new carpet. New carpet for him. And while he's at it, he's going to fly from the V8 supercars to his golf club in a military plane. That's the National Party's priorities. So while New Zealanders can't afford to make ends meet, while they're having the fees for their kids' early childhood education going up, while they're having all their health costs going up, while the cost of living's going up, their power bills are going up, this government are quite happy to splash out on the small stuff for themselves. It's the small stuff for themselves that they're interested in, and they have absolutely no qualms about that. And what did Hikia Parata say about that? She said that she wants the government out of New Zealanders' lives. In other words, the message from this government to New Zealanders is, you're on your own. If the going's too tough, this government says you're on your own. They don't want to know about it. They don't care about it. They don't care about what's going on in the households of ordinary New Zealanders because they're riding around in their leather-seated BMWs with the heated seats. They're recarpeting their houses. They're flying around in the military helicopters. And of course, then we've got John Key with his 8 or so security guards every day, making sure he never has to come into contact with an ordinary New Zealander. John Key doesn't want any ordinary people anywhere near him. He's so paranoid about coming across an ordinary person, he even has to take them with him when he's going on holiday. He has to surround himself with bodyguards when he's going to his private compound in Hawaii on holiday. And not only that, he makes the taxpayers that he doesn't want to know, he makes them pay for his security. He makes them pay the $30,000 for his security guards to fly with him to his holiday home in Hawaii. This is a government that have got their priorities all wrong. They call it balanced. They call it balanced. They're cutting the support for real, ordinary working Kiwis and they're boosting the money that they're spending on themselves, and they call that a balanced approach. Seems very balanced in the back of their BMWs with their wonderful wheel alignment, I'm sure. Not so great for New Zealanders who are struggling with the everyday cost of living. Mr Speaker, this is a government that don't know how to manage conflicts of interest either. John Key didn't think it was a problem to sign off on a massive BMW upgrade for the government within days of attending a National Party fundraiser hosted by a BMW dealer. John Key didn't think that was a problem at all. He thought it was fine for a BMW dealer to give 50 grand to the New Zealand National Party at the same time as he was approving a big upgrade of the BMW fleet that was only 3 years old. Some of those cars have only done 30,000 Ks, which means they're going to be pretty attractive when the government comes to hock them off. Who are they going to be hocking them off to? Who are the dealers who are going to be selling the BMWs? I'd like John Key to front up and explain that. That's what I'd like John Key to front up and explain. But he won't. He won't, because he doesn't think he's got any responsibility for it, despite the fact that it's his signature on the statement of intent that signs off on all of the work. But oh no, because despite his aggressive line-by-line review of ministerial services expenditure, he didn't bother to read that line. He didn't bother to read the line that says he was going to get a new car for himself with the fancy leather seats and all the other bells and whistles that go with it, these fancy BMWs that they have, the mobile offices with their phones so that Bill English can sit in the back of his car down the deep south, catch up on the news on the internet while he's cruising along with his heated seats. This is a government that have their priorities all wrong.